Simon, let's get to some sharp calls. Who called you this week? What are they saying? I felt like we locked in very specifically on some games. There's probably a couple games that people are against us on.
Yeah, I got a call from a big time group I think it might have been mid-season. This guy was Billy Walters' right-hand man. His own little professional group that he runs that they're very selective. They might hit 6, 7 totals or against the spread matchups per year in the NFL. The last time he called me, he was on, I believe it was the Vikings versus Baltimore Ravens. He called me. I think he said the line was 7 or 6.5. Ravens end up being up that big in that game. Ravens came back and went to overtime. The 6 was going to cover no matter what. So whenever someone like that calls me up, I listen. It's tough to hear he's on the complete opposite side of what I like. He likes the Giants. This is one of their bigger bets this week. I can't do it. Like when he said it to me, I didn't want to laugh and be disrespectful because it was when someone like that calls you, you don't even speak. I just listen. But I was like muffling, like, what the fuck? Like, I wanted to hear his rationale on it because I feel like with the quarterback play we've seen of the Giants, I told you last show, they're my lowest graded team right now. Like they're lower than the Jaguars, they're lower than the Lions, they're lower than the Jets, they're lower than the Bears. His whole rationale was this line should be 3.5. It's 7. I have to take the 7. Had to take the 6.5. I think it's down to 5.5, 5 at certain books now.
Yeah, this line is moving aggressively in the Giants' direction right now.
And I get it. Like these guys are big time. We joke all the time. A group like him betting 40K, it has more weight than the public betting $1 million on the other side. I mean, that's how much bookmakers respect this kind of money. So I'm going to stick to my guns. Maybe I just won't bet as much on the Bears. But if it's Nick Foles and it's this Bears team, I love this matchup for this team at home. I'm going to stick with it. But I just want people to have caution, knowing that you're going against a professional who's betting NFL for over 35 years, and he's worked with arguably the best betting pro ever at this. So that's definitely one I wanted to put out there right away. For me, being on the other side of it, it's terrifying. Like this might have been a 10K, a 15K bet kind of for me this week at the Bears. I'm not going above 5K. I'll leave out there what I already have, and I'll keep taking this line as it moves down for maybe 1,000 here and there. But this no longer will be one of our 5. I can't do it, especially when a guy like that's reaching out to me. I just have to respect the call. So that was an interesting call. Then we had a bunch of pros on the same side as us. The guys love Tennessee. We see it still sitting there at -3.5. Had a couple people reach out to me and ask me about that number. When you have a 3.5 and you have the favorite, that's a good thing when it doesn't move to 3. That means that professionals are coming on the -3.5. When I look at the Pittsburgh game, that's scary. The fact that it's still sitting on 3.5 and that pro money has come in on them and it's still sitting there at 3.5 for Pittsburgh, that's scary because they're the dog. When it's the favorite, you feel good about it. So with Tennessee, I'm seeing some 4s out there in offshore books. Nothing's changed there. I still love that number. A bunch of pros love that number. So they're aligned with us on Tennessee. Another discrepancy for us is I said I really like the Ravens. Got a lot of pushback on that one. Talked to 2 different pros. Their group has already hit the Rams. There's a -3, -3.5 for a small amount. They're trying to bet it again. Obviously, it's a little different where you're limited early in the week because of all the injury news. And then we saw the video of Lamar. I don't know if you saw that video, Chad, but it's bad. It's him. The coach blows the whistle for the end of the drill, and you're supposed to jog to the next station. He looked like an 80-year-old man. He could barely really move on it. He was just very, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like he didn't want to put weight on that ankle. When he was stepping up the throw, he didn't want to put weight on it. What are we doing here? If I want to bet Lamar, I'm betting on him on his athleticism. So I didn't get it when they were telling me that, why they were so heavy on the Rams. And then I saw the footage, maybe it was this morning, of Lamar putting weight on the ankle and trying to run on it. So I'll buy out. I'm going to buy out on my Ravens position. It's just I can't do it. So as long as it's under 5 or 4.5 and you can still get this number, I got no issue taking the Rams. To me, this was a trap spot for this Rams team. But if Lamar can't run and you can just make him one, all you have to do worry about is Lamar throwing the ball, that kind of takes away half the offense of the Ravens. So that was definitely one of the bigger ones that changed my mind. Because I told you coming in, I was either going to bet the Ravens or not bet it at all. And now I flipped. Now I am betting the Rams just because I know other pros are on that number. So am I going too long? I got a couple more. I just had a lot of calls this week.
Listen, I love when we get the calls. I'm feeling shitty because I bet the Ravens this morning at +4.
Yeah, I know. I'm right there with you though. Like I love them coming in. I just can't. I have to try to go against my own number and just look at other people's views and then what their information they're giving me. If they're getting good info that he's not right and that he's forcing it, and then we see the video of him looking like that, it was just the reason I bought out of my position. Washington football team. That's if I hadn't already made my big bets of the season, this would probably end up being one of them. I feel like I'm up to 8 different guys I talked to in the last 48 hours that have just bet this number, bet this money line all over Washington. And when one pro said something really interesting to me, he was like, okay, they played 2 weeks ago, and Gilbert, I believe, it was like their third stringer or fourth stringer. They ended up losing that game to the Eagles 27-17. If we're just going off that, it's weird. Again, it's very weird the bookmakers didn't make this line 7. Their whole rationale behind it was the same as me. I make this number 2.5, 3. They make this number a pick. They think they're getting 3.5, 4 points of value. That's why I think so many of them are making this one of their bigger bets. I love that we made this our foxhole bet. We told people to take it at 4, take it at 3.5. It's down to 3, down to 3.5 at a lot of books.
Yeah.
Just a pro number. So wasn't shocking hearing that. And the second biggest one they all talked about was that Vikings game. So coming up in the show, you'll hear someone against this pick, but we hit it right on the head. We knew this number kind of stunk. We knew that the pros were going to bet this. The fact that the bookmakers haven't moved it back to 7, now it's been 2 days. It touched, like I have alerts on my phone through our great action app. I got 2 alerts for a 7. I called up my runner, said, hey, can you make it to Borgata? Can you make it to this other casino and get this number down real quick? By the time he got there, it was already 6.5. By the time he got to the next casino, it was already down to 6.5. So FanDuel moved it quick. It's a pro number. The pros aren't going to let it touch 7. So I was hoping to get the 7, but we've seen it. Maybe I'll have to wait till Sunday morning. I don't really like betting Sunday morning.
Hold on. Breaking news. It literally, as we're talking, moved to 7.
All the books are just a couple.
I see it at a couple books in Connecticut.
That's what we're hoping for. So we'll take the 7 with him. It probably moves because I believe they're getting Jair Alexander back, which is a big deal for this Green Bay team. But my whole reasoning for liking this Vikings team, again, people keep reaching out to us about Kirk in primetime. We have the same numbers. I know how bad Kirk is in primetime. We just have to go off the matchups. I can't really let that trend too much get in my head. Dalvin Cook against this run defense of Green Bay. What a matchup advantage to this Vikings team. We just saw Chubb absolutely tear through them with this Browns team. We've seen it week after week. If you run it up the middle on this Green Bay team, you can kind of dominate them and you can control the clock. So to me, again, it's not really changed my view. I know that it's going to be one of the more public plays of the week, them, Green Bay and the Eagles, but being on the other side of it, I just feel good. In week 17, you kind of want to be with the book at this point. So the fact that we're getting kind of free points here with Washington, if that could get to 4 again, that'd be amazing. Like you just said, the Vikings are already getting up to 7 again. I'm going to send a couple texts right now and try to get that number because to me, it's just not going to last. I could just see it going back down to 6.5.
+7 minus 114. So it's not going to last long.
Right.
I just bet it at FanDuel here in Connecticut.
There you go.
What do you think of that?